friends. Good evening and welcome to another live episode of Hashtag SU. My name is Cecil Henove and tonight promises to be another very exciting night because after all, even if we have had a very busy day today at Silliman University, we have managed to invite two young achievers, Sillimanians at that, and who have really made good in their respective fields. To top it all, they were my former students. So here I am, a very, very proud mentor of our guests tonight. So may I now introduce them to all of our televiewers. Immediately to my left is Mr. Xavier Tilos Villagonzalo. He is fresh from Australia. And this is not his first time on Hashtag SU because we have invited him in the past. But tonight, Xavier is here as a representative of the Commonwealth Bank of Australia as a banking specialist. So welcome back to the Philippines and to Dumaguete, Xavier.
Thank you so much. It's always nice to be back here. And I love my tent. I got my tan back.
Truly, yes, you have
we
a
had
tan.
dolphin watching in
Beautiful,
Bais. Yeah.
beautiful tan, yes. And besides Xavier is another young achiever, again, a former student of mine, really truly proud. And at present, he's a fairly recent graduate of the College of Education. And he has also passed the licensure examination for teachers, and now he is training his eyes on the big time in Dumaguete and of course in Silliman University. May I introduce to you the former student government president of Silliman University, Mr. Hans Denzil Villahermosa. Hi, Hans.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes, and welcome back because actually this is not your first time to be on Hashtag SU. Now, gentlemen, these are Sillimanians, young achievers at that. Xavier finished mass communication at Silliman University, but then went to Australia to try his luck there, finished another degree, and this is on information technology, and now works as a banking specialist in the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Xav, how have you been since the last time I interviewed you here on Phil Product?
I think so much has changed. My life has changed and very colorful now. Love
Very
life.
colorful, yes. Oh, including your love life.
Including my love life.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I just finished my second degree, Bachelor of Information Technology, when I first visited. Now I'm actually on to securing and enhancing the financial well-being of people, businesses, and communities in Australia as a customer banking specialist for Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Yeah.
And before you joined the banking sector, Xav, you were also an international youth ambassador of Brisbane, Australia.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to be named by the Lord Mayor of Brisbane. They call their mayor as Lord Mayor. Okay. I was a Brisbane International Student Ambassador for the Philippines. So there were around 7 student ambassadors from different countries, Germany, France, and I was so lucky that I was handpicked to represent the Philippines to promote Brisbane as a study destination. So mainly is promoting international education from different markets in Europe and in Asia as well. Yeah.
And how successful has your campaign been when you were an international student ambassador of Brisbane?
I feel that I'm representing 2 communities now. I represent the Philippines. In the bank, I'm the only Spanish-speaking staff. So it was really helpful.
So you learned Spanish all over again from
all over
way back
again.
in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was under our college, School of Communication, we had part of our curriculum to study Spanish for 2 years. But I taught myself to speak Spanish. So hablo español.
Oh, great.
No fluido, pero entiendo.
Yeah, wow. You have not forgotten your
I never forgot
Spanish.
it. Thanks to Senor Gabas.
Oh, yes. Very good, very good.
Yeah,
Yes.
I represent all the Latin community. When they come to Brisbane, they don't speak a word of English.
Okay.
And it's always convenient for them that they get someone from the banking industry to have someone who speaks their language. They say.
Do they have a big population of Spanish-speaking nationals in Brisbane?
Yeah, I'm not so sure with the numbers, but it's really increasing. People from Colombia, Mexico, Venezuela, Chile, they're trying to learn English because also at the same time when they're studying, they're able to work. so they can sustain their study expenses, and then
And they go to your bank, no?
they go to my bank,
transact
yeah,
business and
transact
others.
business, because not all banks in Australia have different languages. Our bank specializes in foreign languages as well. We have German, French, Italian, and I'm lucky that I'm able to speak both Filipino and Spanish.
Yes,
Yeah,
great, great.
yeah.
Now, may I ask Hans this time, because I'd like to label Hans as a present millennial graduate, no? Because after all, Hans has graduated only about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
2 years.
And
2015, ma'am.
2015, right? And immediately after he finished his Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English degree, he proceeded to take the licensure exam. And I think Hans took education just in the nick of time, huh? Because of the preparation for senior high school, the K-12, and so on. And in fact, now you are with us at Silliman University as a part-time employee, and
At the high school
also
department.
in the high school department. And I think very soon you'll be joining full-time, no?
Hopefully.
Hopefully the high school department. Now, tell us, Hans, in the preparation that you had for the licensure exam for teachers, and in fact, while you were yet pursuing your degree, I think K plus 12 was not yet being talked about lengthily.
Not
And
really. It was talked about at the near end of my
Yeah.
education.
Yes, okay, so towards the end, so like something like third year or fourth year, right? And even senior high school, no? Not yet as extensively as
Yes, ma'am.
the preparation is today. But tell us, Hans, no? The reason why you took up education, of course, you have your reasons, no? But today, especially with the implementation of K plus 12 and also with senior high school, where do you see yourself in this particular challenge that we have in our educational system?
In the first place, ma'am, I think I really pursued education because when I was still on the brink of deciding what to really take up,
Yes.
because all my peers back then in high school, they were all taking up accountancy and medical technology, and I'm very proud to say that in my batch, I'm actually the only one. I'm the sole educator in our batch. Really, in our batch, who really pursued education because at that time I was thinking I'm not really that good in mathematics. I was actually trailing behind in my class when it comes to mathematics, and also not really interested into health-related courses. So when I was thinking about my skills, my capabilities, I then decided it has to be education because it's the only way for me to incorporate all of the things I'm passionate about and to be able to inspire as well, because that's also one of my passion, really interacting with people and with students. So when K-12 came in, and after looking into K-12, you really have to look into K-12. K-12 is a very complicated, yet also it's a very beautiful system, I must say, ma'am, because it really emphasizes on things that are of relevance today. And I think that is what's very beautiful about K-12, especially with the emphasis of skills over theory. Ever since when I was in elementary, we were really asked to memorize the book, memorize things we were talked about, and afterwards in the exam, we were just asked to, they will ask us to enumerate what we've learned. So
maybe rote memory,
rote
no?
memory, really rote learning. Knowledge level ang emphasis before. But now through K-12, really the emphasis on application, skills over, knowledge. Knowledge is still there as basic foundation for skills. And I think that is what's very important, because when you're in the real world, it has to be skills based. You go there, you interact with people. Social skills is very important. So yes, ma'am.
The term that they use, no? After all, you're very much acquainted with this one, is outcomes-based.
Outcomes-based, yes.
Outcomes-based, what are the skills and what is the result of your learning inside the classroom, and how can it apply in the real world? Yeah, very good. So in other words, Hans, you did not have any second thoughts about going into education and majoring in English as well?
No second thoughts at
Okay,
all,
very
ma'am.
good.
No second
Yeah.
thoughts. Especially when I really had a chance to really see my profession clearly. I realized that it's really my place. Because I've been through other things as well. I've tried working when I tried to picture myself working in an office or in somewhere where I'll just sit the whole day. It's really not something I can picture myself in the future. So I really want to to be in a profession that really entails me interacting and having an active lifestyle. So it's really something I really want.
I'll ask you this question first, and then I'll ask Xavier. Huh? Hans, you were, my goodness, no less than the president of the Silliman University Student Government. And at the same time, you were not really struggling, but you were juggling your time between your studies as well as your activities, both inside the campus and also in the community. And we know that education is really also a backbreaking course where you have so many requirements and so on, just like any other degree program for that matter at Silliman University. But how important are extra or co-curricular activities to you as a graduate now? Looking back, has it ever affected your disposition today? Because you were a very active student leader. And what if you were not an active student leader? How would it have shaped your life today?
Actually, I think that most of what I am today, I really account this to my extracurricular activities. A lot of people say right now that I am a very active student leader, something like that. But actually, in my high school years, I was not an active student leader at all, because for me, I was not able to grab opportunities because I had a lot of self-esteem issues when I was in high school. It was only in college when I started really venturing out and trying things out, and that's when I realized that if it all started. Actually, ma'am, this is actually my advocacy also for TOSP, ma'am. Everything started when I learned that I have my skills and capabilities. So my self-confidence really got boosted. So when one starts to recognize that you are good at something, that's when I started to have that confidence to venture other things. So when I became the SUSG president, a lot of my high school classmates really were shocked because I've never been into any leadership pursuits, when I was in college. So I think that really helped me a lot because, in the real world, when you go out, it's all back to zero. Every achievement, everything that you have done in your college life will be nothing when you go into the real world. And I think that interdependence is one of the biggest things that I really have learned when I was into college. I learned how to deal with people with different personalities, and I think that's very important. And, in any leadership pursuits, like in the student government, and we deal with a lot of personalities, and that really, I think,
diverse personalities,
and I think that really shaped me, that really honed me, and I think that's also a perfect avenue for me because, of course, I'll be a teacher. I'll be handling different diverse students as well. So I think that I am very grateful that I had the opportunity at Silliman University really, and I embrace it. And I think that that's what everyone should do. Do not really dedicate your entire time on your academics because at the end of the day, it's all about skills and how you deal with people. It's all about your work ethic and how you interact.
And I think as students, even I myself, the permanent things that we remember way back in college are the fun times, no? Of course, we have our academics, but maybe we should combine it as well with extra or co-curricular activities. And Hans, would you call yourself as a late bloomer? Would you label yourself as a late bloomer?
In terms of leadership pursuits, because when I was in high school, I was already into singing,
Yes.
acting, because that was what I was comfortable doing, but I never really ventured out. I never took risks.
So
but
not
until
as a leader, it came out in college.
I only became a leader when in fourth year, but it was in the school choir. So but
fourth year in high school.
Fourth year high school, only for the school choir,
Okay.
but not really much into the actual leadership.
So in other words, your skills or perhaps the talents that you may have in you which have not exactly been explored can actually come out, no? When you're in college, no? Okay, very good. Now, Xavier,
Yes, ma'am.
you were a very active student leader as well. Not only inside the campus, but even in the community, in church and so on. Just like Hans here, how important and how significant are your co-curricular and community activities to the work that you are doing now?
Well, basically, it all started when I was a high school student in St. Louis School Don Bosco. I'm a proud alumni as well, alumnus of Don Bosco. I was the president of the St. Louis School Red Cross Council. And then eventually when I went to university in Silliman, I was so passionate about global understanding of multicultural issues. So having to tour around visitors from different places. In Silliman, as a campus ambassador, I was lucky that they gave me time to be the chairperson for 2 years, and I think that that widened my experience as a student leader. At the same time, being able to communicate to people from different cultures. Yeah.
And you were also a representative of the youth in the World Youth Congress, right?
Yes.
In Germany?
In Germany, in 2005, there were 9 of us, 2 from Silliman. We went to Cologne, Germany to experience spiritual enlightenment with Pope John Paul II, but it was the same time when he passed away, so we met Pope Benedict XVI. And right now, I'm also active in the Diocese of Brisbane. So
That's
they'll be sending me
great, yeah.
over to Poland in July this year. So that's the reason why normally in the bank we've been given 6 weeks. So I divided my 3 weeks to spend with my
Of leave,
family.
something
Of
like
leave,
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And another 3 weeks would be spent in Poland
In
this
Poland,
year, and
yeah.
just to experience the fellowship with different youth from different countries. Yeah.
So is it also a religious,
It's a religious, yeah.
event,
Event.
that you will be going to
Yes.
in Poland?
Yeah.
Ay, that's great. Now, I'd like to ask Hans as well, and first with Xavier. Xavier, being in a different country, no? Being in a foreign country for that matter, Australia in particular, the work ethic, no, may probably be different from our culture here as well as in other places. No? Now, in your experience, having worked in a particular culture like what you're experiencing now in Australia, and having been exposed as well to other cultures via your experiences as a youth leader and so on, how would you describe very particularly the work ethic of Filipinos, young Filipinos for that matter?
I think because of the fact that we come from a developing country, we would want to actually see ourselves climbing up the corporate ladder. So one of the nationalities that a lot of Australians look up to are Filipinos. Amazing work ethics. I'm one of the staff members who usually stay back at night. So I start my day 9 o'clock, but sometimes I finish at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, just to finish some stuff, pending items.
Are you the only Filipino in the bank?
I'm the only Filipino in the bank.
And the
in this
only
branch.
Spanish-speaking, as you
Yeah.
had mentioned, staff in the bank.
Staff in the
Okay.
bank. And talking about work ethics around in the Brisbane City area, I was lucky that among 200 employees, I was awarded the Legacy Night Service Awardee. And I've only spent 2 years in the bank, and it's not because I'm trying to represent Filipinos as well. It's also about finding the importance of what you're given by God. So take care of it, because it's not everyone would be able to given that opportunity to be handed over that particular opportunity to work.
And then perhaps generously sharing whatever expertise and whatever talent you may
That's
have.
right,
Yes.
yeah.
And then for Hans, no, very soon, and I think that's what you're doing now. No, you're working. Very soon you'll be joining the teaching force. No, hopefully, in terms of values that you have actually inculcated for yourself. Not only in Silliman, but perhaps most especially when you went to college in Silliman, and prior to your having joined the university, what are these values that have been ingrained in you, Hans, which you feel you can carry on with you throughout your lifetime, and which you may also pass on to your students and your pupils later on? But perhaps, before you answer that, we will pause for a break first, so that you can gather your thoughts as well, Hans. So we will pause for a break, friends, and we will be right back.